Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
Two bodies lie on a hillside overlooking Rio de Janeiro, positioned with unsettling precision among the tall grass. Their hands rest over their stomachs. Their faces are hidden behind metallic masks that gleam faintly under the muted light. And their clothes are neat, as if prepared for a ritual. Q. Approach them with your mind, drawn to the eerie stillness carved into every detail, and you start to wonder whether they were expecting something to arrive from above, or whether something did. The scene feels staged, like a message left to anyone who dared to find it. Tonight, I want you to keep watching closely, because the moment you blink might be the moment an answer tries to surface from the dark. Plubea. The two men are identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, both electronic technicians from Campos dos Goitacazes. Ordinary names, yet everything surrounding their final hours contradicts the idea of ordinary lives. They leave their town carrying large sums of money, purchase elegant raincoats under a warm sky, and by the very masks that will hide their faces in death. Their journey is quiet, almost invisible among the crowded streets of Rio. No arguments, no signs of fear, no hesitation. It is as if they are following instructions from someone they trust or something they believe in deeply. You begin to feel that whatever guided them was not meant for outsiders. The notebook found with their bodies contains a cryptic message. Its handwriting is calm and steady, and the words seem deliberate. It reads, in Portuguese, "Take capsules. After effect, protect metals, wait for masks signal." The ambiguity is chilling, because the phrase does not instruct whether the signal would come from a device, a person, or the sky. Investigators try to interpret it rationally, breaking the sentence as if logic alone could unravel layers of secrecy. But logic does not help when no capsules are ever found and no drugs are detected in their decomposed remains. You may think the message points to a meeting or an experiment. The question is, with whom? Witnesses report seeing a bright orange object in the sky above the hill around the time the men would have arrived. Unrelated or deeply connected, the account becomes another thread pulled into an already tangled knot. It is here that the story reaches for something larger than the physical world, something that Mano and Miguel might have believed they could contact. They were both known to participate in amateur spiritualist groups, discussing energy, telepathic transmissions, and communication with other planes of existence. To them, the idea of waiting for a signal beneath a mask did not sound irrational. It sounded purposeful. Say, when their bodies are discovered days later, there are no signs of struggle, no gunshots, no bruises, no defensive wounds. Their money remains untouched in their pockets, and their watches carefully placed beside them as if time itself had been paused manually. They lie facing the sky as though anticipating a return that never came. You start to question whether they believed the operation would elevate them or transform them, if they thought they were opening themselves to an invisible frequency, or if they were following orders from someone who understood how to manipulate their beliefs to deadly effect. The masks are crafted with a precision that feels intimate. Thin sheets of lead molded to the contours of a human face, smooth and expressionless. They do not protect against radiation adequately, yet they shield the eyes completely, as if designed to hide from an intense source of light. The autopsy reports mention no internal damage associated with radiation, no trauma, just an incomplete picture made worse by decomposition and the lack of resources back in 1966. Every missing piece adds another layer of silence to a story already drowning in unanswered questions. The police conclude that the men likely died from accidental poisoning. An easy explanation, one that fits a bureaucratic need for closure but leaves the mechanics of the scene intact and untouched. If poison was involved, where are the capsules referenced in their notes? If they were attempting a scientific experiment, why choose a remote location and why wear lead masks? Why no protective gear, no tools, no equipment? Why bring a considerable amount of money if not to pay for something or someone you do not want to leave a trace behind? These questions linger, and every time you lean closer to the case, you feel the distance between facts and truth widening. As you follow the trail deeper, you encounter whispers of clandestine groups operating on the outskirts of spiritualism and pseudoscience during the 60s in Brazil. Movements that blended mysticism with primitive understandings of electronics, promising contact with beings of light or extraterrestrial intelligence. It is possible that Manuel and Miguel were not working alone. It is possible that the masks were part of an initiation or an experiment designed far from the eyes of authorities. If that is true, then someone else knew they were on that hill. Someone else knew what they were preparing to witness, and someone else might know exactly why they never returned. Their families insist the men were not foolish, reckless, or suicidal. Both were considered intelligent, disciplined, and deeply curious about the invisible forces of the world. And this is where the story grows darker, because curiosity combined with belief forms a door that can lead anywhere. You start to imagine the moment they reached the hill, the moment they sat down and looked at the sky, waiting for a signal that might have been a sound, a vibration or a light, something they believed would arrive, something powerful enough to justify covering their faces with lead plates, something that might have been real to them. Everything you have heard so far is only the surface. The reasons behind their decision to travel, the people they met before leaving the strange attempt, to buy a car battery minutes before their journey, the inconsistent statements of witnesses, and the mystery of the missing capsules all point to a chain of events carefully orchestrated. But by whom? And for what purpose? As the air begins to thicken and night approaches the hill again, you may feel that this case is not simply unsolved. It is unfinished. You begin to realize that the case is not merely strange, it is structurally impossible under conventional reasoning. The deeper you go, the more everything contradicts itself. The men leave campus after telling relatives they will buy electronic equipment, yet nothing they carry suggests a technical mission. They withdraw large sums of money, but no purchase justifies the expense. They choose a hill with no cover, no shelter, and no equipment for any scientific procedure. It is as if an invisible hand keeps erasing the path behind them. Every answer offered by the official investigation collapses when tested against the physical evidence scattered on the hill. Forensic specialists from modern times have reviewed the case and pointed out that the bodies showed no immediate lethal trauma, no violent injuries, and no clear signs of convulsions. This leaves open the possibility of rare toxins, experimental chemicals, or substances that leave little trace after decomposition. But even this raises another problem. Why would two technicians ingest a dangerous substance willingly unless they believed the effect was temporary and controlled? The notebook instruction, "Take capsules," reads like a step in a sequence rather than an act of desperation. Such precision suggests they trusted the process. They might have trusted the person who gave them the instructions far more. Witnesses from campus mention that both men had been studying techniques to project energy, contact entities, and perform psychic experiments. They purchased books on telepathy, magnetism, and the so-called scientific spiritualism circulating in fringe groups at the time. These groups preached that human consciousness could act as a transmitter for higher frequencies, and that certain rituals could amplify the body too, receive signals from superior intelligences. If these teachings influenced their thinking, then the masks could represent a protective tool used in rituals they believed to be legitimate. You can almost feel the tension building when you imagine them carrying out a ritual that combined electronics, mysticism, and belief under the open sky. Investigators later discovered that one of the men had previously spoken about contacting beings of pure light, entities that could only be perceived when the eyes were protected from intense radiation. This detail, buried in family accounts, casts a new shadow over the masks. They were not symbolic. They were functional within the belief system these men followed. The masks were prepared for them to witness something extraordinary, something bright, something that required shielding. Whether the light they expected was metaphorical, spiritual, or physical remains unknown. Then comes the most disturbing element. None of the raincoats, tools, or masks contain fingerprints from anyone other than the victims. This suggests two possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. Either they conducted every step alone, flawlessly, without help, even while preparing an experiment involving ingestion of mysterious capsules, or someone cleaned all items carefully, removing evidence with professional precision. If the second possibility is true, it suggests the presence of someone who not only guided them but ensured the scene was left untraceable, someone who remained unseen in the investigation, untouched by suspicion, hidden in plain sight. You start to feel the case bending into darker territory. The autopsy was rushed due to the advanced decomposition, and the medical examiner lacked resources that could have revealed exotic toxins or chemicals. Police dismissed the witness who saw an orange object in the sky near the time of death, labeling it irrelevant. Entire lines of inquiry were abandoned, including the origins of the masks and the raincoats, the identities of the shop owners who interacted with the men, and the missing individuals who were reported visiting the same spiritualist group shortly before the deaths. So many gaps appeared that you sensed the investigation was not merely incomplete, it was interrupted. This silence hides another key piece. The area where the bodies were found was known for its isolation and for being frequented by radio enthusiasts who tested homemade antennas. Some researchers believe the men intended to perform a transmission, possibly a dangerous one, using their own bodies as conductors for electromagnetic signals. Such an experiment could overload the nervous system, causing a painless collapse without leaving obvious marks. If true, the presence of an orange light in the sky could indicate a misinterpreted flare, a malfunctioning device, or even atmospheric interference triggered by the signal they attempted to emit. But again, no equipment was found. If they brought something, someone removed it. The position of their bodies remains one of the most haunting aspects of the case. Both lie on their backs, relaxed, legs straight, arms resting naturally. It is not the posture of someone dying in agony. It is the posture of someone waiting. Someone who believes they are about to witness an event that will transform them. Their watch is removed, placed beside them, indicating an attempt to stop time or symbolically detach from the physical world before transitioning to another plane. Or perhaps someone instructed them to do so as part of a ritual. The implication is chilling because it suggests they did not expect to die. Their families also reported another disturbing detail, one that investigators ignored. Days before leaving for Rio, both men exhibited strange behavior, including abrupt silence, long moments of staring at empty spaces, and unusual caution when discussing their plans. One relative recalled listening to them whispering about a great test they were preparing for, a test that required purity and precision. They spoke about a revelation that would prove everything they believed. This hints not at suicide or accident, but at indoctrination. Someone or something convinced them of a purpose far greater than their own lives. Modern researchers who revisit the case uncover patterns that resemble recruitment by secret groups mixing pseudoscience, ritual practices, and experimentation with altered states of consciousness. In the 60s, Brazil saw a surge of underground organizations exploring telepathy, vibrational frequencies, and alleged extraterrestrial contact. These groups operated without legal oversight, often isolating practitioners psychologically until they complied with dangerous experiments. If Manuel and Miguel fell into such a group, the hill becomes not a random setting but a chosen stage, a ritual site, a transmission point, a place meant to receive something or someone. As you approach the end of the story, you realize there is no definitive explanation because every attempt to close the case introduces another fracture. Each clue contradicts the next. Each witness adds a new layer of tension. The truth behaves like the masks themselves, hiding more than revealing. What remains is an unsettling impression that Mano and Miguel were guided, watched or manipulated until the very last moment. Their deaths were not chaotic, they were organized. Their bodies were not abandoned, they were arranged. And the signal they waited for, whatever it was, either never arrived or arrived in a form that left them silent forever. Tonight, as you reflect on their final moments, you may feel a strange sense of unfinished presence, as if both men are still lying on that hillside beneath a sky that keeps its secrets tightly sealed. Their masks remain symbols of unanswered questions, and their story remains a void that resists closure. You begin to understand that the mystery of the lead masked men is not simply unsolved. It has no intention of ever being solved. It lingers, quietly, watching, waiting for anyone willing to step into its shadow and listen for a signal that may still echo from that hill.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.